Clutch Points released an article discussing the Chicago Bulls offseason, giving some of their strengths, some of their weaknesses, and what their ceiling is for this upcoming season. You know, we got to talk about it. Is it a new year with the same play-in expectations for the Chicago Bulls, or can they overachieve? Y'all know we going to talk about it, break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another daily episode. So if you're tuned in, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So Clutch Points, they released an article discussing all 30 NBA teams, talking about the offseason that each team has had, giving some of their strength, some of their weaknesses, and what the end result will be once the 2025-26 season wraps up for the respective team. For the Chicago Bulls, a lot to dive into on this episode. So we just going to go through it. If you want to go out there and get the whole article, it's at Clutch Points. And under Chicago Bulls, you will find it there. But some key takeaways is the offseason. We'll start there. Now, for the offseason, they pretty much said that, hey, bottom line, the Chicago's roster looks much the same as it did last year, and that is not good news in the eyes of everyone around the NBA. And I understand it to a degree. There wasn't many changes that took place for this Chicago Bulls team. We, over here on Shy Bulls podcast, we asked and was making a case for the Chicago Bulls to move guys like Nikola Vucevic, to kind of be aggressive in some of your decision making for the betterment of the team to push forward. But we did go out there and mention plenty of times that it seems like the Chicago Bulls was going to run the same team out there because they're having the foresight of and having on their minds the year of 2026 once you get contracts off your books, once you are able to take another bite at the NBA draft and then see how young guys are going to develop. They clearly mapped out that it was not going to be a lot of stuff happening in this offseason. They didn't say that verbatim, but once you step at the podium, if you're Arturas Karnisovas and says, we have our draft pick and we looking to add one player in free agency, that pretty much tell you it ain't much happening right now with the Chicago Bulls. Plus, history has shown that they have been reluctant to make any massive moves or major moves to acquire draft capital or to simply just trade for a said player. So the bottom line, according to Clutch Points, I'm going to agree with it. The team is pretty much the same, and it's not so good right now. It's not so good right now. They went on to talk about some of the strengths of the Chicago Bulls this upcoming season, and they talked about Kobe White's development. They talk about solid role players like Ayo Dosunmu and Nikola Vucevic. And they threw one in there, a curveball, and said this team has play-in experience. I don't know if I should take that as a strength, a compliment, or a slap in the face. I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't know how I should take that last strength into consideration. Y'all let me know. Mentioning a strength for this team and saying play-in experience, is that a compliment or just like a side-handed slap, like bow, like a real quick one? But I will say when the strengths, some of them have some validity. I will say Kobe White's development is a strength in this regard. Every single time we see Kobe White have a obstacle placed in front of him, he's hurdled right over it. We say, hey, you're not a starter anymore. We need you to be a best six man. He said, nah, I want to be a starter again. He came out and started. We said, hey, we don't necessarily know if you can be the starting point guard, you know what I'm saying, for this team. Hey, he started the point guard, whether you liked it or did not like it. He was able to accomplish that. That was an accomplishment for me. He was able to come and handle the rock. Then you had to go out there and play off ball next to Josh Giddey, and he set career high in point total. So the obstacles that have been placed in front of Kobe White have been there, but he has hurdled and overcame those said obstacles. What's next for Kobe White is, can you knock on the door of All-Star? Can you knock on the door of All-Star? I say it's possible, but you got to show me. You have to put it on wax for me to become a believer. I believe Kobe White has that talent, but my thing is with Kobe White is that I need consistency throughout an entire 82 game season on how many other games he played. Because 2 years ago, I seen Kobe White start off hot, kind of fizzle out a little bit and simmer down at the end of that season. And then last season, I seen Kobe White start off a little slow. I wouldn't say bad, but a little slow. And then really came on at the second half of the season where he got player of the week acknowledgments and also was the player of the month. Those are huge steps forward. But the biggest thing is now, can you carry those performances and translate it into a consistent season? And can you increase that point total now to 22, 24 points? I think that's not too much to ask for Kobe White. I think that's right on par with what he believes he can be and what I believe he can actually do. Now, when you talk about solid role players, I do think that the Chicago Bulls have solid role players. Nikola Vucevic is not a bad basketball player. He's just a guy that I want to see going off my team because he don't fit the timeline of the young guys. When you talk about Ayo Dosunmu, I love Ayo Dosunmu. I think this guy is a one-man fast break. He can switch on to multiple positions. His three has gotten a lot better, and we know that he can attack the basket however he wants. But then now I'm looking at other role players like, is Isaac Okoro really going to be like that in the Chicago Bulls uniform? That's still to be determined. I know that he's been solid over there in Cleveland, maybe not to the standard that they probably wanted him at in Cleveland, but I think that the young fella got some game, and we'll see what that translates into. Now you talk about guys like Kevin Huerter, solid role player, did not have a good ending to his stint in Sacramento, but he looked like he came on pretty well for the Chicago Bulls. Same thing with Trey Jones. Same thing with Dalen Terry, who's now taking a step forward, but is it too late? Which is going to be a question we're going to be asking ourselves, and we're going to be closely evaluating how does Dalen Terry continue to improve as we move forward. So they have solid role players, but is it enough? And then the play-in experience, look, I get it. Last season, I feel like the Chicago Bulls dropped a big ball. Hold on now. I feel like the Chicago Bulls dropped the ball when they was like, yeah, we trying to push for this play-in positioning, but in this Cleveland game that matter, we're going to chill out. Hold on. Y'all want to go for it or not? What y'all actually want to do? So I get the play-in experience is there, but when you get your ass smacked up 3 different seasons by the same team, I don't know if that experience matter. Now, maybe you got to go through some heartbreak to finally find love. Maybe. So maybe, I don't know. The expectation, though, is hoping that this young Chicago Bulls team can take what they did in the second half of the season and shock some people early on in the season. But again, it's not up to us. It's up to them. We'll see. Now, some of the weaknesses that they placed out for the Chicago Bulls was the lack of a true star and no rim protection, which is valid. Those are valid points. You look at other teams around in the Eastern Conference, we'll just start there. You look at the Cleveland Cavs, Donovan Mitchell. New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson. Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis. 76ers, it's a long shot. Joel Embiid is still there. And they still got some young talent. Tyrese Maxey, Paul George. Obviously, injuries are a big thing over there. But still, they have something they can lean on over there. Now, with the Indiana Pacers, we look at them and we say, well, no Hallie, I don't necessarily know. I don't necessarily know either. But they still have a star in Pascal Siakam. That's still right there for them. So for the Chicago Bulls, who's that star? I can't pinpoint it right now. Who has star potential? I'm not talking about you have to go out there and be a superstar, all NBA type of player, but is Josh Giddey knocking on star potential? Is Kobe White knocking on star potential? I know we're putting a lot of pressure on my man's Montes Buzelis. Is he right there to fit the bill? And does he have star potential? I think all things could be said yes. when it comes to, can Kobe White knock on an All-Star game? Can Josh Giddey knock on an All-Star game, especially seeing him in the season the way that he ended it last season, to where he was damn near averaging a triple-double, but that was at the second half of last season. Can it carry over into this season to where we see a larger sample size of Josh Giddey averaging damn near a triple-double? That's what we need to see. And Monty Buzelis seems like he's going to be the face of the squad, but he has to grab the bull by the horn. It's not about me liking him. I love the kid. I believe he has the right mentality, but none of it matters if you don't put it on wax. None of it matters. None of it matters. You can think what you want to think, but once the game start being played, if he does not show it on the basketball court, your thoughts don't matter. It's up to the young fella to show that he can do this. It's up to the young fellas and the young guys to see if they can do this. And when we talk about no rim protection, it's the reason we wanted the Chicago Bulls to draft a big man. A big man. Now the big man is Noah Essengay, and he most likely going to be on a developmental plan to where we don't see him for some time. Will the Chicago Bulls play politics? Will the Chicago Bulls have them on the same course that they had Monty Buzelis on? We're going to sprinkle you in here. We're going to send you to the G League. We're going to sprinkle you here. We're going to send you to the G League. And as you start get going and as he get more comfortable as an NBA-ready player, how long would it take for the Chicago Bulls to not play politics with Nikola Vucevic or any other player and say, to hell with it? We playing our young guy. Go out there and get your skin. Go out there and get your skin, boy. We gonna have to see some things. Now, the way that they ended this with saying that the Chicago Bulls will be the 10th seed with a 36-46 record. I ain't got no argument for it. I don't. I have no argument for it. Now, if the Chicago Bulls win 40 games, overachieved again. Overachievement. But is it real? Does it really matter? And this is legit. Does it really matter if the Chicago Bulls win 40 games and end up in a play-in and still lose? No, it don't matter. Now, if you're not going to do a playoffs, that's an overachievement with this young squad. If Monty Buzelis take a step forward and he's becoming that player we expect him to be, that's a step forward. If Kobe White and Josh Giddey go out there and become a really, really good backcourt and one of them makes an all-star game or they knocking on the door, that's some overachieving, because the Chicago Bulls are going to have to come to a point to where Kobe White is going to be in discussions again. Because do you want to exhaust or distribute more money? Because Kobe White getting over $30 million. You ain't want to give Josh Giddey the $30 million, but Kobe White is getting over $30 million if he continues to play how we've seen him play the last 2 seasons. Even regardless if you felt like it was inconsistent, which I do feel that way, he's definitely getting over $30 million. And this is a contract year. Get ready for him to see a huge pay increase. No more 11, 12, $13 million. So the biggest thing is 10 seed, play in, new year, same play in expectations, until they show us that they are better than what they have shown us. It's okay to say, hey, guys, I like what I see. I like these players. But it's also okay to say, I don't know what the hell we going to do this season. That's my position, though. How y'all feeling about it? Because my position on the Chicago Bulls right now is that, look, maybe mid. Can they overachieve? Yeah, I've seen teams overachieve all the time. But you don't necessarily see it all the time in Chicago, especially these last few seasons. We have to keep it real. Keep it real. We have not seen a lot of good stuff in Chicago. Do you have a reason to believe that the young guys can come and mesh together and possibly do something? Probably, yeah. You got to shit on them all the way. But it's okay to take a step back and be a little bit more reserved and say, look, I don't know. I think they might be mid. 10 seed? What? Well, I'm gonna see what you want me to sit here and clamor for the 8th, 7th, and 8th? I don't know. We now when we talk about the teams, we do have questions about the Sixers and their health. We do have questions about the Milwaukee Bucks and how all that's gonna come together with that new team that seems like it's devoid of talent. You know what I mean? The Atlanta Hawks, they made a bunch of improvements. How good would they be? Right now, they look better than the Bulls on paper. Just saying. Orlando Magic look better than the Bulls on paper. Then you throw in Cleveland, New York, and a couple more other teams. And I don't think Boston, they might not be the number one seed this season, but they still going to have some talent. They still got a star on the floor in Jaylen Brown. They still got a really good Swiss Army knife in Derek White. It's not going to be all bad for Boston. Maybe not championship aspirations, but on paper, better than the Chicago Bulls. Just got to keep it real, guys. Just got to keep it real. So when they come out and say the 10th seed and the 36-46 record, I don't have much debate for it. That's just me. They have to show me. Put it on wax. And then we'll go ahead and congratulate and compliment appropriately. But I don't believe in jumping off the porch for this type of situation because we've been fooled for the last 4 seasons. Call it how we see it. But hey, that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Before you get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate y'all over here. Make sure y'all always see red, and y'all already know. We're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace out, y'all.
Cognac.